What's going on, beautiful people? You are listening to On Second Thought, and I am your host, Lamont Gordell. And first and foremost, I just want to say Happy New Year. I know it is not the beginning of the new year. We're a few days in at this point. However, this is the first podcast that I'm releasing, so I'm just go ahead and say Happy New Year to you guys because I haven't had the opportunity to do so. I appreciate you for tuning in. And today we're going to be discussing something that's been on my heart for a little bit. Not necessarily because it's going on in my life, just because we kind of had a conversation about it, or I had a conversation about it with some friends that I had at my house. And ever since then, it's kind of been in the back of my head, and I felt like I wanted to speak on it, right? And what it was is basically the fact that as human beings, we kind of tend to allow ourselves to believe that we got where we are on our own. And in some cases, that leads us to, leave friendships, relationships, be it with a significant other, family members behind, in an attempt to allow us to feel as if we got where we were headed or where we're at on our own, right? And what I mean by that is, for example, for me, I moved out my mom's house when I was 16, and current day, or not even current day, because I think it's something that I stopped saying a long time ago. But I moved out my mom's house when I was 16, and the story I used to tell myself and other people when I expressed to them how I got to where I am, I'd be like, yeah, I did it on my own. Like, I moved out my mom's house when I was 16, never turned back. And, from there, I was just kind of doing my own thing. But when you peel the layers back on that onion, it's not the truth. The truth is I did move out my mom's house when I was 16, and there was a team of people that helped me get to the point in which I'm at right now. I stayed with friends and their parents. I had people that supported my decision to join the military. I had a bunch of people that helped me mold or took care of me en route to becoming the man that I am. And the reason why I bring that up is because part of that curse that we have in regards to saying, we did it on our own, is as we start to move into success or find a new version of us, we tend to remove people that have been with us from day one out of our lives for those that we think are better or that are going to provide something better, when in reality what we had in the first place was good enough, right? And don't get it twisted, I'm not saying that, I'm not doing the whole no new friends, none of that stuff. What I'm saying though is you really have to pay attention to when, as you start to move into a new person, a successful person, because you're accomplishing your goals and doing all the things that you want to do, who is there because they want to reap the benefit of your success and progress, and who is there because they want to be able to gain some of that energy, right? Or who's there because they truly support you. There's a difference between the two, and the difference is one group of people will be there regardless of whether you're winning, losing, placid. It doesn't matter. They're there to support you no matter what. And the other group of people is generally there just for the success. They want to ride the high as well, right? And one example that came to mind, there's a couple examples that come to mind, but one example that came to mind was, watching the movie The Wolf of Wall Street. You look at Leonardo DiCaprio, who's playing Jordan Belfort, who is considered the Wolf of Wall Street in that movie. And as the movie started off, he was already successful. He was making money, but I think he had a much more humble living in the beginning. Yes, he drove a nice car, but I think that he hadn't yet come into the ego that he ended up having, right? And he was married to a young lady. But as he moved into that more extravagant success, he steps out on her and ends up marrying, I forget what he calls her, but he ends up marrying the other lady, right? And granted, they didn't give any background history on the relationship prior to. They just kind of showed that he stepped out and now he was in a relationship with the new woman. And that was the gist of it. And how often do we see that happen? And maybe it's not you, maybe it's a friend that, let's say this person was out of shape. They didn't really vibe with what they had going on. One year decided, hey, this is going to be my year. I'm going to get in awesome shape, right? And they go and they got an 8-month transformation, and now they're killing it. And people are starting to look their way. They're getting people gravitating towards them. They get new looks from women that they never got before, or men that they never got before, so on and so forth. And now, they're stepping out on the person that they were in a relationship with, because they're getting all this new energy. But who's to say that the people that are giving that energy to them would have shown the energy, or will show the energy the same if they fall back, right? Let's say if that person had that 8-month transformation and they're out there, vibing with people, they start a whole new relationship, and then for some reason they slip back. Is the person that they ended up in a new relationship with going to stick around after that, or are they going to dip out? And I talk about relationships because it's one of the things that's highlighted in movies more or less. You don't really see it in the movies in regards to friendships and, family relationships, but we see it happen in our everyday lives, where someone starts to, let's say, grow a following on social media, or they do get in shape, or, they just have something going for themselves and they start acting completely different. And that's okay to, grow into a new person, but you have to check your ego, right? Now, the second example is a movie called Don't Look Up. Also, headline, or the front runner in the movie was Leonardo DiCaprio. Odd that happened to be him twice in the same movie, playing essentially the same guy, just different characters. He played an astronomer in the movie. It's called Don't Look Up. It's a Netflix special. Check it out. I thought it was pretty decent. But essentially what happened was, he was a professor. He was an astronomer. Him and his students found out that a comet was headed toward Earth. Earth was going to end. He was not anybody that was being recognized before. Again, he was just a professor. His students loved him, but not many people outside of that were looking his way. He was married. He had 2 older sons. Well, once they found out that this asteroid, comet, whatever it was headed toward the Earth, he started to get a little bit more notoriety. He was on late night talk shows. He was on the news, so on and so forth. And he ended up stepping out on his wife with the newscaster. Well, his wife ends up finding out about it. She approaches him and she asks him, she goes, hey, I just want to ask you a question. I understand what you have going on is probably overbearing. You didn't expect things to go this way, but what I need to know is, are you willing to throw everything you had away with me and your family for your sneaky link, right? And he pauses and she goes, well, you know what? That was all the answer I needed. That was enough. And she gets up and she leaves. Well, immediately after, I think the whole purpose of that scene is it kind of depicted his realization that he was doing something wrong. And I don't think that he realized that he was doing something wrong, nor do I think most people realize that they're doing something wrong in the instance that they start to grow and they start to treat the people that were there for him since day one some type of way, or, they start to act like they're too good for them, right? I don't think he realized it. And in the instance, he kind of sunk into his chair and you could see him kind of, going over what he had just done in his head, like, oh yeah, I really messed this up, right? And the reason I bring this up is because it is 2022. Everybody is setting their New Year resolutions, and I hope you guys are sticking to them. And as you start to find that growth, that success, understand that people are going to gravitate towards you, and it's okay to allow new people into your life. It is completely okay to, surround yourself with like-minded people in order for you to continue to accelerate that growth. But what you really have to do is be able to identify whether that person is there just to ride the wave, or if they're there for, continual support, right? I guess the simplest way I can put it is, hopefully the people that you're allowing to your life as you're gaining your success, hopefully they're there for a long time, not just for a good time, right? But I say that because we are people that are relatively self-centered and egotistical inherently. I don't think that we do it on purpose. So you really do have to step back as you gain those new highs and check yourself in regards to how you are navigating life with these new people that you're meeting. All right. that's really all I have. Like I said, it was just something that was on my heart, something that was on my mind, just because I understand how easy it is to fall into that trap. And I want you guys to enter 2022 with success and abundance and love, but I also want you to make sure that you're keeping your relationships intact and you're growing the proper way. You're not going to burn any bridges in the process, right? With that being said, I do intend to make this a focal point, doing these podcasts and uploading YouTube videos for this year. It's one of my resolutions, or one of the things that I should have been doing in the first place, is to make this a priority. So here we are, episode 1 of the year. I intend to do at least one a week. And yeah, if you made it this far, I appreciate your time, and I really do appreciate you listening. Please share this podcast with somebody, share this YouTube video with somebody, and hopefully you got something from it. And until next time, peace, love, and happiness, y'all.